Hello to the fellas and the ladies. It is time to review Joker, FOLIE et DEUX. Sequel to the 2019 hit Joker, and this one follows Arthur Fleck, who, after doing all the Joker stuff in the first Joker movie, he's, in prison. Now he's on trial, trying to get out, trying to plead insane so he can, not be in jail anymore. Then he meets a lady, and they fall in love. Yay! So quick context, I like the first Joker movie. I'll mostly defend it. I do think it's pretty subtextually empty, but it's very well made. Joaquin Phoenix is excellent. It looks terrific. And most of all, it's cohesive enough, it's engaging enough, it can be exciting even. So I overall like it as a movie on its own. I do think, however, the reaction to that first movie was kind of ridiculous. People were afraid that theater shootings were gonna happen as a result. People were gonna watch Joker and then pull out a gun, just open fire. I even remember going to see Joker 1 back in 2019, and there was a security guard right in front of our screen on opening weekend. It's okay. Was that called for? But whatever you may think of Joker, I think we can all agree we didn't need a sequel. It was a fine standalone film that just wound up being bigger than it had any reason to be. Ended up getting people thinking it was super deep when it's really just a Scorsese knockoff. Got 11 Oscar nominations, the most nominations. Won 2 Oscars, including one for Joaquin Phoenix, which was deserved, and also Hilda Guðnadóttir was deserved. But fast forward to now, the sequel does exist, and I'll admit, I was a little intrigued by it. I'm a huge fan of Harley Quinn. She's my favorite comic book character. I'm a big musical fan too, and the idea of turning this into a musical caught my interest. But I hated this movie. Straight up, I fucking hated this movie. It is, like the first one, empty, void of anything, despite being very, very well made. Todd Phillips is not a bad director. Even go back to, the Hangover days, he clearly has a good, visual, flair to him. I'm not saying he's groundbreaking, but he's certainly competent. And Lawrence Sher, as a cinematographer, definitely deserves a lot of credit, because this movie does look stunning. The lighting of the movie is very, grabbing. The musical sequences, while I will get to why I had issues with them, they did look really fascinating. It's pretty clear to say that this movie has a really nice visual distinction to it. Joaquin Phoenix is once again really good. First of all, fuck Joaquin Phoenix dropping out of the Todd Haynes movie, you piece of shit, fuck you, you're a little bitch boy. But he is really fucking good. Dude can act, and he's good here too. He was really good in Joker, and he's really fucking good here. I don't think he's as grabbing in that one, just because I think this movie is very, again, they don't give him that much, depth to his character, whereas the first one, there was something to grab onto. He's kind of just going through a similar arc, but worse. But overall, he is really good, and I was really impressed by Lady Gaga. After her performance in House of Gucci, I was uh-oh, she's trying too hard, and I thought her being Harley Quinn was not a great idea. After House of Gucci, she's just not cut out for those kind of roles, but hey, prove me wrong. She's actually reliably, laid back. She could have easily played it as just crazy, but while she's clearly unwell, she does not shove it in our faces. I really was impressed by how laid back she was in this movie, and yet still effective. So shout out to Lee Gill, the guy who played Gary, who in his one scene really was very impressive. He really showed off how talented he is. But this movie is just one big middle finger. It really is just nothing. This movie is a big middle finger to the first movie even, and how that movie was perceived. How it was seen as such a game changer when in reality it was just a crowd pleaser. It was almost like Todd Phillips himself hates the first movie. In that sense, it's going to piss off a lot of people, especially fans of the first movie. Because this movie is all about false messiah kind of figures, how we can build these fantasies in our heads about these idealistic ways of getting by, thus the musical shit. Problem is, it's so bogged down by hollow nothingness. Because remember everything I just said about fantasy and false messiah figures? It just kind of boils down to, yeah, that's not good. Don't do that. Don't be Joker. That's mean. This movie is a shallow, void. Like the first one, it thinks it's so fucking deep, when in reality, it's just shallow. It screams so loud, insisting that it has something to say, but it is just nothing. There is something they could have done with Joker being a false messiah, how people idolize this guy, especially in the wake of figures like Donald Trump or Elon Musk, who don't maybe deserve this level of, folk hero-ness, but it just kind of goes, don't do that. That's not good. These guys don't deserve that. It's but also it kind of turns itself on its head a little bit, especially towards the end, where it's yeah, it's bad, but also this. It's what? The movie has basically 3 plot lines. All of them are really underdeveloped. One of them is the courtroom drama, where they're trying to plead Joker as just insane. He has 2 personalities, so he should be allowed to leave. Which I cannot stress enough. That's not how the law works. This was definitely where the movie was its most intriguing. However, it just kind of felt bogged down by meandering. We just see a couple of scenes where they kind of go in circles, where they kind of just, the whole point is that they're bullying Arthur. I don't want to feel bad for the guy. Like, movie's kind of unsure how it feels about Joker. That's another thing. Like, I can't really tell if the movie wanted us to feel bad for him or hate him. I think that kind of goes into the point that Todd Phillips trying to make, where it's like, oh, well, we kind of made him into this figure that he wasn't supposed to be, but at the same time, the movie has no idea how it wants us to feel about him. There's also a prison drama where it's just like, prison bad. Brendan Gleeson has a thing in the movie where he's like, not really a relationship, like he clearly doesn't like Arthur, but like there is like a bit of a quote-unquote something there, like a prison guard, prisoner kinship kind of thing, even though like they don't like it. It's hard to explain. You fucking see what I mean. That again resulted in nothing. It was saying nothing like the rest of the movie. Prison drama stuff was just kind of like, yikes, right guys? This isn't, oh man, being in prison is bad. And then there's the thing you come for, the love story between Joker and Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's my favorite comic book character of all time. I was really interested to see how they would play that off. Oops, it sucked. First of all, I never get mad at this stuff. I never go like, dude, that's not how the comics do it. I never am like that. But, dude, how did they take Harley Quinn? It was just like one of the most fascinating comic book stories ever. A psychiatrist who falls in love with a psychopath. So interesting, right? We just start off with her being infatuated with him. She's crazy from the get-go, and that's it. No nuance, no nothing. There was like some stuff thrown in there about her that it just kind of was confusing, and then it just goes, no, that's not true. The love story between the two is very underdeveloped. It's just suddenly they're in love. It's just kind of like, what is it really actually saying? I get that she's supposed to be like one of the crazy fans, but like, what does she mean to Joker himself? He really likes her. Hey, good on you, buddy. Like, in the grand scheme of things, you could take Lady Gaga's character out and it wouldn't change anything. Like, for all intents and purposes, she served no purpose to anything that Todd Phillips wanted to do. Also, now I can talk about the musical sequences. I think it's time to do that. Musical sequences look nice, but like their place in the movie are just so random. Just out of thin air, like a courtroom scene happens and now we're just transported into like this new sound stage where they're singing like a pre-existing song. And there's like some interesting visuals. Yeah, they're doing some like cartoony shit, but it's like, what are we doing right now? This is an over 2-hour movie. Like, this did not need this fluff. And again, I'm a musical guy. I love musicals, but like, this is like, what are we doing here? It had no reason to like do this. If you want it to be a musical, please have at it. I have no issue. But like, I like the musical sequences where they're just kind of like in the position they were already in, like they're just one-on-oneing. But when they're transported into this new like dream state kind of thing, it's just like, oh, so this is just a waste of time. The ending is stupid, by the way. The ending happens, I'm just like, that's it? That's what we did all that for that? And all in all, this movie is for nobody. Clearly, the critic reactions and the audience reactions are both overwhelmingly negative. But like, when I say it's for nobody, I mean it's for nobody. If you are a fan of the original, you're not going to like how they handle anything. It takes away everything that made fans so in love with the first one. And on top of that, it literally hates fans of the original. It's honestly admirable how much it hates the fans of the original movie. And if you're a detractor from the movie who needs convincing that they were wrong, you're not going to get that either. Because it's still empty. It's still devoid of anything. It still thinks it's deep, but it's really just nothing. So this movie has no audience. It has nobody going for it. So why would Todd Phillips be surprised that everybody hates it? On one hand, you could say, wow, what a swing to just straight up alienate everybody. But at the same time, it's stupid as fuck, no? Because when you alienate everybody, then why would people go see your fucking movie? I am truly baffled at how I can hate a movie with this much well-done technical prowess, but here we are. Its gimmick is just there to show some fun colors and try and pretend this isn't a hollow void of nothing while thinking it's deep, but it just irritates more than inspires. And I'm gonna have to give Joker FOLIE et DEUX 3 Jokers out of 10. This movie is getting goose egg at the Oscars. You can say, oh, what about cinematography? What about this? Maybe Lady Gaga can get this. No. Nobody likes the movie. Plain and simple. You can go like, oh, but like, you know, bad movies get text. Yeah, but nobody likes this movie. I just don't see a world where this gets any nomination. I'm not saying it wouldn't deserve, like, cinematography or something like that. It just won't get it. Like, nobody likes it. Like, plain and simple. Nobody likes it. Alright, that will be that. Like, subscribe, and share. Fucking done. This movie sucked. I woke up this morning and I'm still mad at it.